Hi, this is Paul. I'm coming back with TTM episode number 57. It was a slow week. We had 7 returns. So let's get started. The first one is a 92 Fleer of Jim Gott. That was 101 in 80 days. The next one is a 3-2 in 10 days from Herm Edwards. He signed 2 Buccaneer photos. One and two Herm Edwards, and the third thing he signed, I put in, when I know they're not going to sign index cards, I put in these, I cut up the envelope boxes and put them in for for protection. He signed it, so, but oh well. But Herm Edwards, after he was a player, when he got into coaching, he was Tony Dungy's defensive secondary coach and assistant head coach. So and then when he left when he became the head coach of the Jets, and then ultimately he became head coach of Kansas City. Mr. Edwards' famous rant: "You play to win the game." Goes up there with Jim Morris playoffs, and Dennis Green is we let him off the hook, and but Herm Edwards, when he left, the person that got his job was Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin became the Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary coach, and he Mike Tomlin was there when Gruden was there. So Mike Tomlin won a Super Bowl ring as a defensive backs coach, and the secondary coach, whatever you want to call it, of the Buccaneers, and then ultimately Mike Tomlin got the head coaching job at Pittsburgh, and so Mike Tomlin more than likely eventually will be in the Hall of Fame. So, all right, so enough of that. And then the next one is a 2-2 from former ABA and NBA player Mel Counts. He signed this. This is the New Orleans skyline, and he wrote New Orleans Jazz. May God bless 1974 to 76. May God bless you and your family, Mel Counts. And then he signed the other picture of the skyline, and he did some other inscriptions. Uh, New Orleans Jazz 74 to 76 gold medal 1964, two-time NBA champion 1964 to 76. I believe they were with Boston. I would have to look it up, but he didn't win any NBA champions with the Jazz. The Jazz weren't very good when they were in New Orleans, and they moved to Utah. The biggest attraction for the New Orleans Jazz, they actually played in the Superdome. A lot of you weren't born yet. They actually played in the Superdome. They never really had a real arena in New Orleans, and that's why they didn't want to continue playing in the Superdome, so they moved to Utah. But their biggest attraction was the late Pistol Pete Maravich, was already a legend in Louisiana from playing at LSU and setting all kinds of collegiate records. I remember Pete Maravich, and shout out to TTM Mike. I remember Pete Maravich putting 68 points for New Orleans Jazz against the Knicks. Of course, Pistol Pete originally was with the Atlanta Hawks, and if I'm not mistaken, became a bench player with the Boston Celtics, same like Bill Walton, and I believe he won a world championship in Boston with the Celtics. So, all right, the next one is a 2-2 in 180 days from Greg Brock. He signed the 91 Fleer Ultra, and he signed the 88 Tops, and he did put a note in that moving forward, and a few of you have already addressed this. He wants $1 per card. It's going to go to a veterans organization. He has a friend that's in the military, so next time you send Greg Brock, and I guess that's why he takes a long time. I guess he does the request with donations first. But in the future, when you send to Greg Brock, put in at least $1 per card. The next one is a 101 in 34 days from Dr. Robert L. Satcher. Okay. He signed this. He's not in that. He's not in that spacesuit. This is a facsimile of the or the actual spacesuit that was worn in the Gemini missions back in the 1960s. I'm not going to get into it with the space program, but that was the next stage in preparation to go to the moon. It started with Gemini. It started with Mercury, and then which was the one-man mission. Then it went to Gemini, which is the two-man mission. And on Gemini, they did the spacewalks. They call it extravehicular activity. And then they also did rendezvous. That was to prepare for the Apollo program, which, they needed to do rendezvous with the lunar module and the command module. And unfortunately, Apollo 1 in 1967, I guess I was 6 when they had that fire during a practice drill, and the 3 astronauts, Ed White, Roger Chaffee, and Gus Grissom, that was the first time that astronauts died. And then, of course, and it wasn't in flight, but they were the first casualties. And then, of course, you had the unfortunate explosion of in 1986 of the Challenger. It exploded upon takeoff. And then back in 2003, I can't remember which space shuttle it was, but that's when it crashed off the coast of Texas. But Dr. Robert L. Satcher was an astronaut on the space shuttle, but right now he is a orthopedic oncologist at Rice University Medical Center in Houston. So that's what Dr. Robert L. Satcher. All right, so the next one is a 3 of 3 in 27 days from Annie Potts. Annie Potts signed 3. This is the Toy Story parade at Disney MGM. She played the voice of Bo Peep in a couple of those movies. But back in 1996, during the holidays, we went to Disney MGM, and it was around right after Toy Story. The first Toy Story came out, and they had the Toy Story parade. So she signed this one, and she signed this one. I have 2 more requests out. I have other pictures of the parade. I have requests out to Tim Allen, because he played the voice of Buzz Lightyear, and then John Ratzenberger. I can't remember who he voiced, but I believe it was the Slinky. I can't remember. And then the last one is a 101 in 14 days on this 93 Stadium Club from Greg Bremett. So that's it on the returns. Like, comment, subscribe. Everybody enjoy the weekend. Thanks for watching, and we will talk to everybody later.